Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors.
Present Gifting believes relationships are important. Moments matter. Join the early VIP access list at presentgifting.com.
Jim Coleman Insurance, personal and business lines of insurance. Call the office at 541-753-2500 and learn more online at jimcoleman.com.
Capital Mortgage Source. Your trusted mortgage professional is just a click away. Learn more at capitalmortgagesource.com and call the office at 541-829-8042.
Join Bosun Hub in supporting Kicking Cancer, empowering individuals and their families to thrive in their cancer journey. Learn more at kicking-cancer.org. And now let's get on with the show.
Ta-da! Here we are. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Hey,
Up.
good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Man, I am so excited to be here today. Scott, how are you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing great. This has been, it's beautiful weather here. It's probably going to be 85 today. It was about 55 when I got up, so beautiful time. Good to get out and do some walking and just enjoy the time.
Well, it's interesting because all this time it has been, you had super cold, you had snow, and now you're in the 80s. And here in Oregon, we've been in like the 30s and 40s and just kind of misty the entire time. It hasn't changed. It's been the same the whole time.
Yeah.
But, I tell you, that's one ththing that I love about the Willamette Valley is our mild weather and the fact that everything is beautiful and green because it gets plenty of water. And but anyway, wherever you are today watching us, we're so thankful you're here. We are here, Scott and I, every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. That's right. Not only do we go live at 7 a.m., but then it sits on LinkedIn and YouTube forever, Facebook for 30 days. So you go back and watch forever. In fact, subscribing to our YouTube page would be the best way to make sure you don't miss anything that we do. And the way that you do that is go to the local.theexperience.video or the experience.video goes straight to our YouTube page. So both of those will get you there. And local.theexperience.video has more information about Scott and I. Also want to tell you, though, if you missed this on video, you can go to any of your favorite audio platforms, whether it is Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Pandora, whatever. We are there. You can go check us out and listen to us while you get ready for work. Right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to thank all of our sponsors for making the show possible. Thank you to Jim Coleman, State Farm, to Capital Mortgage Source, Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer, and presentgifting.com. All of the sponsors make the show here for you to be able to enjoy and to share and to have wonderful guests like Cathy Derksen today. As we say, we have only the most remarkable people on the planet right here on our show.
That is so true. It's so much value for you because, there is great experience in your life. And remember, it depends on the perspective you keep. If you need help with perspective, grab my new copy of my new book, Life Happens, and then you choose, and that will help you with perspective. But I love the Divine Equation by Chip Ingram. I just want to mention, because we're talking about experience, because you know that your circumstances plus your perspective equals your experience. If you want a good experience in life, you need to keep a good perspective over everything that's happening. You need help with that? Grab a copy of my book. I'd be glad to help you with that. With that, Scott, I think it's time to get Cathy in the room.
Yeah, and I'll just say one more thing about the book and my partner here that I get to hang out with a couple of times every week on the Experience Local and here on the Experience. Your business, your group, your organization needs inspiration, and one of the best speakers for that is Russ Hedge. And reach out to him and get him scheduled as you're coming into the end of the first quarter, and you're thinking, boy, we really want to kick 2026 up and make it be the best year for our business. Bring Russ in.
Well, thank you, Scott. I'm blushing. I appreciate that. And, I owe everything I do to Scott because he's amazing. So if you need business help, if he's also a great speaker, can do so many things, just go to Scott. He's an amazing, amazing person. So, all right, everybody, we're going to get Cathy in the room and get this show started. Here we go. Morning, Cathy.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Cathy.
How are you doing?
I am doing very well. Thank you.
Good. Well, it's so great to have you here this morning. We're going to start off with the basics. So who in the world is Cathy Derksen? What are you up to?
Well, as you mentioned, so my name is Cathy Derksen. I live on the west coast of Canada, so just up the coast from Russ. And yes, we've been enjoying that beautiful, I think we've actually had the first year in over 40 years that we haven't had snow on the ground at all.
Oh,
so
my
for
goodness.
those of you on the east side, sorry, keep your snow over there. And my company's named Inspired Tenacity, and a big focus of my work is helping midlife people see that we are not old and obsolete. We are not finished. We are just getting started. And one of the main ways I do that is by creating multi-author books. So giving people opportunities to not only become a published author by just writing one chapter, but by having that ability to share your story in a way that inspires and lifts other people all over the world.
Yeah, that is so amazing. Go ahead, Scott.
British Columbia. This is a beautiful place, one of the most beautiful in the world. We were able to, my wife and I, drive the Sea to Sky Highway.
Yes.
So starting there in Vancouver, driving through the fjords and up into the Lillooet Mountains to Whistler. And we made a big loop up there, but just gorgeous for people in Oregon. The Cascades are great, but it's like a spine of mountaintops. You get up into the Lillooet Mountains, and it is like a quilt of mountains up there. Just gorgeous. So, Cathy, you mentioned when we were getting ready for this that you're going to be in New York because your authors are going to be up on the big screen in Times Square. Tell us what's going on.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And so over the last 3.5 years, I've released 10 books that all are multi-author books. So there's roughly 20 people per book. And so I've made this opportunity available to my authors to join me in New York City. And we're, putting our billboards up on Times Square. So some are solo billboards, some are group billboards. And we're also doing a 3-day retreat while we're there where the authors can get to know each other, go on some crazy New York adventures together. So that is what's coming up in just, 3 weeks from now.
Well, congratulations. Wow. That's a big deal to be on the big screen in Times Square.
Yeah, and it's cool too because the location I used, there's also a live stream camera on it at all times. So my authors are all over the world, so they can actually see themselves on the camera in real time. And so that kind of adds the fun, even if you can't join us in person.
Yeah, I mean, that it's so exciting. When you and I first spoke, Cathy, I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe what an amazing opportunity that was. And it's very affordable to do it as well, more affordable than I expected. And so you and I are already talking about this coming October. I'm very excited about getting Life Happens and Then You Choose up there. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. But, besides just getting people up on the billboard, so you work on these anthologies or collaborative books and getting people that really would love to do something but don't know where to start. So how did you get started in that? And how do you get the word out and get people together for those?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, this month marks 5 years since I left my job to figure out what I was supposed to be doing in the world as an entrepreneur. And And at that time, if you had asked me if I was going to get into publishing and that being an author was going to be a big part of my life, I would have laughed at you, because there was nothing in my past that pointed it in this direction. And I got started just as one of the authors in somebody else's book. And I just loved the whole process. I loved being able to share our stories in a way that inspires other people. I love the community that comes together inside each book. And so actually to date, my 24th book that I've contributed to is coming out on March 3rd. And that will be the 10th book that I've created as my works. And so that is really exciting. And now being in these books and creating these books and bringing this opportunity to people all over the world is everything I do. It's the main focus of everything.
Yeah, and it's so amazing, the opportunity. So I wrote my first book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, without other authors, but with amazing people that helped me, because I needed a lot of help. But during my cancer journey, I actually wrote 4 anthologies. I was invited to be part of 4. So I wrote a chapter in each one of those, and it was an amazing experience. The first one that I did with an amazing person, her name was Lonnie, and she was so great. But what we did is we came together over a weekend. We all talked and wrote and edited. And by Monday, the book was already in progress of being published. By the end of that week, it was already published. And it was the first of a series called oh my goodness, I'm spacing all of a sudden the name of the book. It'll come to me. But anyway.
It was something and...
It what?
Yeah, it was something, Unchained, and something like that.
Yeah, it'll come to me. But anyway, the whole idea was I met so many amazing authors. That's what led to the other books. And to make a long story longer, I just was invited, and I just wrote a chapter for another one in a cancer group that I'm in, and was invited to do 2 more books coming up. So I probably will do chapters in those books as well. It's just a lot of fun. Those kind of things, as you know, the authors, it's easy on us authors, because you just have to do your one chapter and fix it up after it's edited. And the other people do all the hard work. You're the one that does all the hard work. And so it kind of makes it easier. So how much work did it take you to learn about all that, to learn about the things you needed to do to get that book up? Because it's quite a process.
It is. And luckily, one thing I have learned to get good at is finding other people who love doing certain parts of it. So the part I love to do is the beginning. So creating themes and titles, bringing together people from around the world, working with each one of them to help get their chapter developed. And then I've got a team that I work with that does the whole editing, publishing, proofreading. They do all the fighting with Amazon. They create all our marketing materials. So they're coordinating that end of it. So it's actually been a perfect collaboration. Like I said, I do what I love to do, and they do the parts they like to do. And together we create amazing books and bring amazing opportunities to people.
That's amazing. Scott, I'm just going to say before you jump in, Rattled Awake was the name of the book. Lonnie Ray was the one that put it together. That was the first one I did.
That's what it was. Yeah, I remember now.
Thank you.
So you have 2 very powerful words together, Inspired Tenacity. So tell us how you came up with that and the general themes for the books that you publish.
Yeah, and it's funny, the kind of, again, back where I was just dreaming I was going to become an entrepreneur. What would this look like? What would my business name be? The name Inspired Tenacity really it came to me intuitively. And a big part of that, I think, was that I had just come through a divorce, a complete career change. I had 2 teenagers along the way with me, going through that whole chaos in life. And it just hit me that those words really were some of the key factors that we need to overcome any big change in life, is that inspiration of what are we going to do next, and that tenacity to just keep at it. And it's funny too, because when I first told people this was going to be the name of my company, I actually had a few people tell me, well, that's stupid. It doesn't even mean anything. You can't use that. And I almost changed it. And then I started bumping into the other people who got it immediately. And they saw that and said, that is perfect. I love it. And I realized now my company name has almost become a filter. So I know exactly who gets it and who doesn't. So yes, so all the books that I create are focused on being inspiring and motivating and sharing our stories of positive change. And the first book that I coordinated was called Embrace Courage. And I think part of why I chose that title was because I knew it would take me a lot of courage to think that I could gather 20 people from around the world to participate with me in the first book that I ever did. And the one we've got coming out on March 3rd is called 20 Shades of Grief. So that one is 20 people from all over the world who are sharing both their own journey with grief, but also sharing strategies and tools on how do we cope with grief in our life. And so that's the next one coming out. Other ones have been Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. I had Midlife Awakening, and then there was Midlife Reimagined. Now I'm working on what's the next midlife step? And so they're all themes like that are broad enough that really anyone has a story that fits into them. But I find that certain titles call to different people. They hear that title and they go, that's my book. I need to be in that one. And one of the ones that I'm bringing people into right now is called Rooted in Resilience. And that one is all women, but again, all over the world, and sharing how resilience has played a role in their life and sharing some tips or tools. How can people become more resilient? How can they see resilience as an important skill in their life?
Yeah, no, that is so great because it takes that resilience, not only in life, but definitely to put together a book for sure.
Yes.
And, one of my favorite anthologies came out of the first one, Rattled Awake. And then one of the authors that was with me in that book, she did one called A Note to My Family. And the whole idea of that book was to write to future generations of your family what you wanted them to know about you and what you wanted to help encourage them in life. And I really enjoyed that. In fact, we finished it in November and published it. And I was able to give a copy to my entire family, an autographed copy signed with a note to them, which was really special to me. And so, like you said, certain titles speak to people. So how do you go about that, though? How do you go about thinking about what in the world am I going to do for a title? What will speak to people? How do you create those?
A lot of it is listening to what people are talking about. What are the themes that people are inspired to start conversations about? And part of it also is listening to others. So I'm always open to ideas of new themes, new titles, new general focuses of who are we talking to? Who is the audience? And so, and of course, over the last couple of years, I've made a habit of writing things down. So if a title, something pops into my head that'd be a great title, I put it on the list.
I think that's great. People ask, how do you remember all these things? It's like, well, I write them down. That helps. I'm going to encourage people to go to Amazon and take a look at your book, and then also follow you as an author, because every time you publish a new book, then they'll get a notification to say, oh, there's a new one of the new books is out. I just want you to provide some encouragement for those people who are first-time authors in joining you on one of these book projects, because a lot of people want to write a book, but it's very intimidating. And what's it like for a first-time author to come in and work with you?
I would say most of the people I work with are first-time authors, and they say one of the stats I've heard is that 92% of people have it on their bucket list to become a published author, but only about 5% of people ever do. And I think what stops a lot of people is imposter syndrome. That feeling like they know they've got something that they want to put in a book, but then there's that little voice that keeps saying, oh, who do you think you are to write a book? You're not an author. Or who are you to think that someone else wants to actually read what you have to say? And so I think that's a massive thing that holds people back. And so when you first participate in a multi-author book, it helps to get rid of that, because now you're surrounded by a group of other people who are going through the same thing. And I work directly with all of my authors to help them get their chapters to a good draft that they're happy with. And then it goes to the professional editing team. And then, like Russ was saying, from there, everything is done for you. And so it really kind of lifts you and carries you along. And rather than you sitting there trying to figure out, how do I do all these things? How do I coordinate this? How do I find an editor? How do I do the marketing? How do I do all that? And with all the books we've done so far, we do reach international #1 bestseller through the Amazon system. So that's always a nice thing to put on your profiles and to celebrate. And especially when you think about it, when you've got 20 people from around the world working together on something, and now they're all promoting it at the same time and liking and sharing and tagging each other in their promotion, it creates this massive wave of visibility that everybody in the group is riding. So it's a great way also to build visibility on your social media, create different speaking opportunities. From what I've heard with most people that organize conferences, summits, even podcasters, they tend to look for people with books. So people with the word author in their profile first. And then they'll look for people that aren't authors. So just having that word in your profile can put you into communities that you didn't ever imagine you would be in. So really, so much of it is done for you, holding your hand. And yeah, once you have that book in your hand, it's like, wow, look what I did.
It is amazing. It is amazing. In fact, the first anthology, I was one day away from telling them, backing out, telling them I couldn't do it. Not because I had already written my first book, but I was just thinking, I just can't do it right now. This is going to take a whole weekend. And it was the greatest experience. And I still have some lifelong friends from that first book that I worked with. And it was such an amazing experience. And becoming an international best-selling author was amazing, because being able to tout that wherever I go, a true statement that I am an international best-selling author, is an amazing opportunity. In fact, because I've been able to write these multiple books, my last book, I was able to tie into a friend that is a New York Times best-selling author that wrote one of the endorsements for my book. And so that was even a bigger thing. Not only can I say I'm an international best-selling author, but I have this endorsement from a New York Times best-selling author, which is a big deal. And so it's a lot of fun to come together. And with people like you, Cathy, just bringing things together makes it so easy. So just one more step. Scott talks about how you come into this whole thing, but people are sitting there right now and they're saying, yeah, I get it. That's for somebody. But I'm not a book writer. You need somebody like D. Scott Smith, by the way, who encouraged me to write my first book. But how do you help them get over that hump and over that imposter syndrome? Because that really bites people. It really does.
Yeah. A big part of it, like I said, part of it is being in the group doing it. But the other part is that I work one-on-one with my authors as much as they need. And so we'll go on a Zoom, we'll talk about, what has your journey been? What's the part of that you want to share? And really work together to figure out what is that one message. Because of course, when you're only writing a chapter, you can't tell your whole life story in every possible detail. The important thing is to really find, what is that one message that you really want this chapter to convey to the reader. And especially for people who are entrepreneurs, for most of us, what we're doing now in our business is where life has brought us. Our life journey, what's happened along the way, what's inspired us, has led to what we're doing now. So really, it becomes a perfect opportunity to really create a lead magnet for your business, because you're sharing your story, how you got here, what you're excited about, and then kind of your tips and tools, of course, probably lean into what you're doing as a business. So it really becomes a way that the reader thinks, wow, now I feel like I know this person, I trust this person, what they're doing sounds like it would be valuable for me. I want to talk to that person. And so it really becomes kind of that next step. So definitely with the new authors, going through that process together, helping them sort out what is that message they want to share, And really, I go back and forth with them with different drafts, different outlines, figuring out, okay, is this what you wanted to say? Clarifying the details. And so it really is done for you and holding your hand.
Yeah, I really like this, and I encourage people to reach out and contact Cathy and find out about one of her projects that's coming up that might fit. And one of the practical things that you can do is go down to the Dollar Tree and spend $1.25 and buy a spiral notebook and just start brain dumping into it, things that you're thinking about, experiences that you have. When clients ask you questions and you put answers, write those in there, because somewhere along the line, one of those is going to come and fit perfectly into a book, and you've already got a bunch of it written.
Yeah.
So, Cathy, I know we're going to run out of time, and Russ is going to ask you about contact information, but what are some other things that people can do to prepare to work with you?
Oh, well, you don't really need a lot of preparation. Life has prepared you for many things, and this is one of them. And so really the first step is that conversation. Let's just jump on a Zoom, see what themes or ideas would work best for you. And like I said, I'm always open to new ideas. So if you've got an idea for a title of a book that you think, is general enough that a lot of people would have a story that fits under it, then yeah, let's have a conversation. And going back to the 20 Shades of Grief, so March 3rd is the official launch date. So I would definitely love it if everybody could join us that day and pick up their Kindle copy. Of course, the paperback is also available, but Kindle is the one that we use to do our big Amazon launch campaign to hit our bestseller status. So March 3rd, definitely join us, and I'll drop all those links into the chat below on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, I can tell you, everybody, that's the time to jump in on these book launches, because the book is either super cheap or free. And so that's the time to get your Kindle copy. There you go, 99 cents. And if you should still buy a copy, paperback, hardcover, whatever it's available in later, but at least you have the book right off the bat. And Kindle is handy because you can kind of breathe through, take a look at the book and get a good idea, and write an Amazon review for them right off the bat, which is always a plus. So I highly recommend that. So Cathy, amazing. I just love this discussion. We have to do this again sometime. But in the meantime, tell everybody how they get in touch with you, because I know they're going to want to reach out, and give everybody your gold nugget of today's conversation. What do you really want people to remember from our conversation today?
All right, perfect. And yeah, so social media wise, LinkedIn is where you'll find me the most. So definitely find me there. And my website is just inspiredtenacity.com. And there you'll find places where you can download free PDFs of some of my previous books. You'll find information about my new books and lots of other things there. So definitely those are the two best places to find me. I just love this conversation that we've had, and I love how you guys have really kind of added to that idea that it's doable for all of us. Nobody who's listening to this or watching us isn't able to be in a book and become a published author. So no matter who you are and what your story is, this is for you.
Well, and I want to say too, when you come together with people, they help draw out of you a lot. So like when I came to my first meeting with all these people and had my first draft of what I was going to write, then they started talking to me and adding and helping me and editing. And next thing you know, it was refining this chapter. And by the time we were done, it was like, wow, I can actually do this. With a little bit of help, I can put this together. So I highly recommend everybody go to Cathy's connection points, or they're in the comments or in the show notes. They're clickable, everybody. Click on them, go straight to her. You don't even have to remember what they are. Just click on them, go straight to her. And I just highly, highly recommend that today. And Cathy, thank you. Such a blessing. Thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you. It's been wonderful.
Well, you're so welcome. We're going to say goodbye here on the screen, but hang tight for 1 second, all right, in the green room. Wow, Scott, amazing. She's a great lady. Lots of super great information.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that everyone should be involved in. Writing a book, you got to do it. Writing the whole thing yourself, that's a big challenge, and probably you won't do it, or you would have done it already. So jump in and do one of these collaborative books, and go to New York and go to Times Square and see your picture in the book up there. That's pretty overwhelming.
It is. I am so excited. When I first talked to Cathy and she told me the cost, the price point, and how we do it, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a no-brainer. We're going to do this because I'm going to be in New York this next year. So it's very exciting. Looking forward to that. And so anyway, I just want to remind everybody, get in touch with Cathy. Make sure to connect with her. Don't forget, we are here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. That's right. After we go live, this also sits on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. LinkedIn and YouTube forever, Facebook for 30 days as a video podcast. If you can't watch, listen on your favorite audio podcast platform. Please like, share, and just engage and comment wherever you love to listen or watch. We would really appreciate that. And with that, Scott, any last minute comments before we go for today?
I'm just going to say, next time someone asks you what you do, I want you to be able to say, I'm an author.
There you go. That's right. So remember, don't forget, you might have that imposter syndrome, but your circumstances or your current life situation plus your perspective equals your experience. If you want a good experience and you want that experience to include being an author, see Cathy today. All right, everybody. Until next time, enjoy life and
enjoy the experience.
There you go. See you, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.